Boom, boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, boom. Hey, baby, I hear the director calling. Toss your salad and scrambled egg. Oh my, how nasty. And maybe I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe, but don't you peg me. But I don't know what to do when I toss your salad and scrambled egg. Boom, 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 boom. The director's calling again. Do, 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 do. Scrambled egg all over your face. What is a boy to do? Do, 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 boom, 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 boom. The cold open has left the building. Welcome to Does This Still Work? The podcast looks at old movies and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon, and don't I have a beautiful singing voice?
It's fine. And I'm Kit Nowokunski, and today we're discussing HumpDay from 2009 and some historical context. First, podcasty stuff. You can reach us at dtswpod@gmail.com on Facebook, Letterboxd, and Counter Social. Please tell your friends about us and leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 per month at patreon.com/DTSWPOD. Now, Joe, take us back to 2009.
Before we do you want to explain why you're Kit and not George?
George has been working a ton of overtime this week, so he was cutting himself, what was it?
A little thin?
Yeah, he was stretching himself a little thin, so I generously offered to watch a movie and do some work for ye old podcast since I've filled in for you before. And, of course, then I got a cold.
Well, you sound great.
I was miserable. I spent a lot of time procrastinating on this movie. I watched it once and I was like, oh, I finished.
It's 90 minutes. Couldn't have been that bad.
Oh, the second doing the script, dealing with doing the script, I mean, like, oh man, this thing.
Okay. And by the way, you are, of course, George's girlfriend. For those who can't quite figure that out.
Yes, that's all that I do. That's my only defining. That's my only defining feature.
Trait. That's your only worthwhile existence is that you sleep with George because somebody has to. All right.
Yep.
Friends and enemies. We're now in the script, ladies and gentlemen. Friends and enemies. This has not been an easy history corner. While plenty of things happened in Seattle in 2009, Seattle is where HumpDay takes place. I couldn't find most of those things. We use newspaper.com to get our articles, but whenever I looked up Seattle 2009, I got no returns from the Seattle Times, the Seattle Post-Intelligencer, or even the weekly The Stranger. Why? I don't know. But don't worry, I did find some things related to this film and news from that time. One of those things is a person by the name of Colton Harris-Moore. Back in 2009, this teenager became an internet sensation. Read the headline from the Spokesman Review, Kit.
Teen bandit becoming national sensation.
I will quote from the piece. His following seems to grow as quickly as the list of crimes people speculate he may have committed. Colton Harris-Moore has been something of a legend in the town of Camano Island, where he grew up and is suspected of nearly 50 burglaries and thefts, including boat and plane heists, since his escape from a halfway house in April 2008. The Seattle Times has chronicled the teen's exploits for more than 2 years, but the bandit has made headlines across the country in the past week after speculation arose that he may be responsible for the stealing of a Cessna 182 turbo plane. End quote.
That's kind of impressive.
Yes, that's why it became such a hot deal.
Do you think, he had to have access to those planes at some point? This is all on an island?
He grew up in Washington State, and they have islands there. And yeah, he apparently broke into a couple, allegedly, I guess. I don't know. Some of the stuff he wasn't convicted of some of these things, but he broke into some places, and he stole food, he stole money, and occasionally he stole planes.
Like, you think it's a small town, and it's just like cousin Steve is complaining, like, he stole my car, he stole my boat. Whoa. They don't have cars there, actually, so he stole a Cessna.
He may have stole this one, but he also stole a plane from another dude who was a radio show host. So in this news piece, not only did this child light up the internet, but people were selling T-shirts with his picture on them. Because he evaded the local police and even the feds, ABC News branded him a modern-day Huckleberry Finn, and people were comparing his exploits to the character in Catch Me If You Can. Of course, today we know Catch Me If You Can was pretty much made up. This kid was not. The press even gave him a nickname, the Barefoot Bandit, because he would break into places without shoes on. He would eventually get caught after he stole a plane that he planned to fly to Cuba, but crash-landed in the Bahamas. He would be indicted on July 6, 2010, in U.S. Federal Court, Seattle, Washington, on transporting a stolen aircraft. And he would be charged with interstate transportation of a stolen aircraft, interstate transportation of a stolen boat, piloting an aircraft without a valid airman's certificate, attempt to elude, and illegal landing. I didn't know landing was a crime, but there you go. He will be sentenced to almost 13 years in prison. In 2016, he got released on probation and got a job working as a law clerk. He tried to do a GoFundMe to pay for flight school training, but his asshole parole officer nixed that since any money raised would go toward paying restitution to his victims, the rich fucks he stole the planes and boats from.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. It's fucking stupid.
It doesn't make sense in that, like, I think that was something arbitrary they maybe decided on. All he had to do was wait until he was off parole, and then he could go fly a plane. I mean, you're on parole for internet crimes. You can't use a computer. Fucking stupid shit. Like, it doesn't make sense why he did it. The paying restitution to the people whose planes he stole doesn't make sense either. Though fuel is expensive. Some of those planes probably weren't necessarily for rich people. They were for people like, it's an island you can only get to by plane or by boat.
You own a plane, you're rich, okay? Sorry. That's the way I do it.
If you own a plane or a boat, you are not rich.
Yeah, you own a plane or a boat, you're rich.
If you're stuck in the middle of nowhere on an island,
you're rich. You own more than one house, you're rich. If you own a house, a plane, and a boat, you're rich. I'm sorry. No, end of discussion.
Okay, my family owns boats. We were not rich. We were poor.
Boats?
Fuck. Yeah. It's sailboats.
What poverty is this that you get to own a boat? Those things are hard to maintain and very cool.
Yeah, which is why we're poor. I mean, it's not like we had a luxury yacht or anything like that. We had a 32-foot sailboat, a day cruiser, and my parents got a bigger one with a below deck and a cabin area for when they retired.
This is rich white people stuff. What are you talking about?
No, I mean, my parents scrimped and saved. Some people have RVs. That was what we had as a recreational vehicle.
RVs aren't cheap either. This is all money. Money. Sounds pretty good to me. I don't know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right into the show, and you decide if you own a boat or an RV or a plane, are you not rich? Are you poor if you own those things? Not the bank owns it and you're paying off mortgage on it. You actually own them.
Plenty of people that are very poor and have boats. But I'm from Florida, once again, you know.
Your definition of very, very poor is different from mine.
I mean, owning a plane, you've got some money, but if you own it for work, there's people that probably work and live on that island. They're not rolling in dough. That radio dude probably, but, you know, the rest of the people living there.
I think if you want people on parole to get their lives together or not, if you do, let them raise money so they can go to school. I just thought it was dumb.
He was raising money for something used to commit a crime.
No. He'd already done the crime. He was on parole, and now he's just raising money so he could go to aviation school, which he clearly had skills for. He clearly could fly a plane, just couldn't land it.
So if someone is convicted of, arrested for like drag racing in the streets and totaling cars, should they then get funding to go to racing school while they're still on probation for said crimes? No.
Did they kill anybody?
Who cares? They fucking did some stupid shit.
They didn't kill anybody. Yeah. As long as they're not still doing that illegal act, let them raise the money. Well, I had a question for you, but I guess you already answered it because you're not familiar with this case. You don't remember this kid?
I vaguely remember something about some radio dude's plane getting stolen, but that's not a lot.
I actually looked up old Colton Harris-Moore just to see what he's up to these days. And I couldn't find anything. I guess he scrubbed himself from the internet Probably trying to start his life, or probably working under a different name now. But,
Yeah, probably.
he should be
probably
giving
just
out
living his
lectures.
life.
He should be giving out lectures and making money that way. And the guy from Catch Me If You Can, he didn't even do his crimes as he's out making speeches. Why can't this kid? I don't know.
I mean,
Seems to me.
wrote a book.
Yeah, wrote a book, going out making speeches, got a movie made about him. This kid should have a movie made about him. And fuck those people he stole.
Fuck him. He didn't write a book. He just stole a bunch of shit.
Right, and got people writing about him and selling T-shirts with his picture on it, which he should have got some money from.
Yeah, that is fair. Then he should have gotten money from that. Or at least his victims.
Somebody.
His poor, apparently rich victims.
not poor in my book. Now, let's move on. As I was doing research on the history of this podcast.
Classist fuck, Joe.
Goddamn right. And behold, I found there is a sort of sequel to Hump Day. I got this off the IndieWire. Read the headline, Kit.
Beyond Gay, presenting Lynn Shelton's sequel to Hump Day.
Dan Savage, the sex advice columnist and creator of the Hump Amateur Porn Festival, had feelings about the director, Lee Shelton, using his project as a launching pad for her film. I'm going to quote her. He demanded that I show Hump some love because, as he pointed out, without the existence of Hump, there would be no Hump Day. I had to agree. Quote, and so in the same year this film came out, 2009, she shot a short that operates as a sort of spin-off sequel called Beyond Gay that follows a gay man and a lesbian attempting to get it on. This wasn't easy for her because she was working on another project, and at the time of the shoot, she had a wedding to attend. So she shot the thing in 2 hours, rushed to the wedding, then after the wedding edited it, then submitted it to the festival the next day. That's a lot. But it sounds like it was worth it. I quote, it was my first time at Hump, and the experience was kind of extraordinary. Sure, it's kind of uncomfortable to watch porn with a bunch of strangers, but it also felt like this was really sweet, really fun celebration of the diversity and complexity of human sexuality. Everyone laughed their heads off at Beyond Gay, which is awesome, and I was completely honored to take home the prize for funniest porn. I have to say that winning Hump also felt like the completion of a weird and beautiful circle. End quote. That's sweet. However, there is one problem. While the IndieWire article has a link to Beyond Gay, it no longer functions. A Google search turns up a book called Beyond Gay, but no movie. Folks out there listening to us, if you have access to this movie, please send it our way. I would like to see it. Anyway, Kit, what do you think a short film about a gay man and a lesbian woman trying to screw would look like?
Disappointing? Hairy? Hairy. I'll go with hairy.
A lot of hair.
A lot of body hair.
I read just a man and woman going, because they don't want to do this. I don't even know why they would even think about it. Well, I guess you have to see the movie to think why they would come up with such a dumb idea.
Honestly,
I'm gay. I'm a lesbian. Let's do it.
It's just sex. I mean, it's not like they're sitting there vomiting at each other.
You think you can still get it up and she can still get herself wet for this?
I'll explain this later in this when we're talking about this movie. Exactly.
Okay.
Why it doesn't really matter for porn.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you don't have to enjoy it to be in porn. I understand.
No, not at all. You just have to be there.
Yes. And finally, the two dudes in this picture would basically be doing gay for a day situation with this movie they want to make. Something the Irish would know about. From ABC News, headline, please.
Tiny Irish village goes gay for a day.
Thank you, Irish pirate. County Selgo Town. Oh, you didn't read the whole thing. All right, I'll read it.
Oh no,
Selgo
I want to. County Sligo Town hosts world's smallest gay pride event.
Thank you, Irish pirate. This is thought to be, at least in 2009, the tiniest gay parade in the world. This village of 250 people has a family resource center, and it urged its residents to go gay to support the local LGBTQ community. Organizers expected around 80 people from the community to attend, all of whom will wear pins, or wore pins, I guess, probably stating, gay for a day. Oh, nice. You got anything you want to add there, Kit?
It's a town of 250 people. I wonder what the average of LGBTQ people were then.
Probably pretty small, I would imagine.
Yeah, in 2009, a lot of people that are trans now would not be considered trans then. Like,
Good point, yeah.
The definitions have expanded drastically.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, maybe more than I think. I looked it up. They're still doing this, so it's very interesting. Very,
Good for them.
nice. Okay, Kit, tell us about Hump Day.
It's written and directed by Lynn Shelton. No awards. On IMDb, the blurb is, two guys take their bromance to another level when they participate in an art film project. Subtle. On Amazon, it's HD. Ooh. Two straight buddies engage in a wild night of partying and agree on a dare to have sex together in an art film project. Okay, well that's fair.
What do you think comes closer? I think probably two guys take the bromance to it. I think IMDb comes closest.
Amazon to me, because they don't take their bromance is pretty steady the whole time.
Okay.
Their relationship is always pretty steady. Amazon has it better. I just consistently refer to it as gay chicken.
Yeah, gay chicken probably is a good name for it.
Yep.
I don't know why Amazon needs to put it in HD, though. Who cares?
Oh,
What's
you
that
know,
in the movie?
it's high def.
I'm looking for a movie. Oh, good, it's high def. I guess I'll watch it now. Like,
Yeah.
Whatever.
My dad, he was he was a pretty tech savvy dude for a senior citizen. You know, he's born in like 1944 or whatever. But I remember one day he called me up and he wanted me to get a VHS to DVD recorder so that he could take his VHSs and upgrade them to HD. And I had to spend a good hour explaining why that was not possible. It's like, they will never be HD, Papa.
Well, tell me this. When he
Right.
called you, was he calling from his boat?
I don't think had good reception on their cell phone on the boat at that time. They eventually got a satellite, but that was after they were retired.
Satellite on
They
your
sunk
boat.
some money.
Poor people.
Yeah, if you're gonna be
Real
if you're
poverty
gonna be
here.
at sea for a week, you lock up the house, you bring the cat with you, and you're gonna be at sea for a week. You need a satellite phone and a GPS.
I
to call
wish I
for
had
help.
that poverty. Oh, what I would have done. All right, anyway, get into the characters.
Have my mom invest for you. She's still alive. She's single.
What does she look like?
She's pretty cute. She looks like me, but with salt and pepper hair. Oh, all right. Now our characters. The main one is Ben, the husband. That's Mark Duplass.
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 Mark Duplass. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Anyway, he was in one of my favorite films of 2018. That is Tully. Good movie. See it. You should. I think you might like it. I also seen him in Safety Not Guaranteed, which was okay.
Yeah, same. Safety Not Guarantees, pretty good. I like the ending. Did not really like the rest of the movie. For me, he's very like off-brand, generic leading man. Like I forget what he looks like.
He's very
tomorrow.
off-brand. In fact, look, I don't want to be insulting here, but this is his face. Oh, and when his resting face always looks like he's pissed. Always like he's gonna absolutely bite your fucking head off if you talk to him.
Yeah, or like he's just gone through a trepanning. Like someone's just drilled a hole in his head. Maybe through the like a lobotomy.
He looks like he's had a lobotomy.
Just a little drill down the chin, and he's right there. Next up is Anna, his wife, Alicia Delmore. I don't know anything she's in. I just called her Zoe Deschanel until I found out
That's
her name.
fair. And yeah, I don't know her from anything either.
Then there's Andrew, Joshua Leonard, a gentleman who loses a lot of roles to Zach Galifianakis. That's Andrew.
I know him from Blair Witch Project, a movie that was a big deal in its day, but I don't think has aged well. Beyond that, I don't know his work.
I did not recognize him from that. I try and block out that whole thing. I even watched the mockumentary about the Blair Witch Project that made everyone think it was real.
Well, that is the Blair Witch Project, isn't it?
No, the Blair Witch Project is the found footage. And then it came along with a mockumentary documenting the town of Blair Witch. So, like, it was a 2-part set where they interviewed people in town and shit afterwards. They're like, I don't know why these kids went off and got running, wandering into the woods.
Yeah, but I thought that wasn't all part of the Blair Witch Project.
It was part of, like, it was very much this weird War of the Worlds thing because a lot of people were like, no, it's real.
Yeah, that's
this
nonsense.
is real, found footage in the woods. I'm like, this is some bullshit kids running around the woods. Oh, people were stupid then.
Then?
Oh, fair. Then we have Monica, who's played by Lynn Shelton.
She's the director. She's also in Safety Not Guaranteed, so I saw her there. I'd never seen her other work, and sadly she won't make any more because she died of a form of cancer she didn't even know she had until it was too late, which is sad. So you're welcome to all of you thanking me for bringing it up.
You're welcome, Joe. The only other person of note, I'd think, is Lily. Trina Willard. She plays Monica's girlfriend, kind of. And she has an amazingly smooth
She does have a very smooth skull, and I got nothing else. I got nothing for her.
And there's a ton of other people who don't matter. They show up once and then they're gone.
It's really a 3-person movie.
On to the plot. Hump Day, a story of gay chicken. No.
Or Humpty Dumpty.
The movie starts with a couple in bed snuggling. This is Ben and Anna. The husband, Ben, in a ratty shirt with a hole in it. Anna, his wife, is rubbing his skin through the hole in his pit suggestively, and I'm already very uncomfortable with this immediate intimacy. Thankfully, they happily agree they're both too tired for sex tonight, promising a rain check, and then they go to sleep. Ben is woken up by someone jamming on the doorbell and knocking. He sees his wife is dead asleep, and he blearily makes his way to the door. He looks through the curtain and recognizes his friend Andrew. They greet each other by hugging, play fighting, and rubbing each other's guts.
I'm always rubbing George's guts.
Yeah. Every time you see each other, it just belly rubs like puppies. Gross. You do comment on each other's fat. You're like, look at your gut. Look at your gut. My gut's bigger. No, your gut's usually, it's not as big as this. That's fucked up. Is that
I
a guy
guess.
thing?
I don't know. Do the ladies not do that?
No, we don't. We don't comment on our guts. And
although I do have a friend of mine, I didn't see this, but he said that his wife commented her girlfriend on her breasts, and he said he could never do that with a male friend. Comment on his genitalia.
No. Nice tits, Joe. Looking perky.
But girls will do that, right? They will comment on
Ping.
each other's breasts.
I mean, it depends on the friendship and who, like, if you've got the girls up and out, you'll be like, they look fantastic today. But no, that is not something we do. You know what we do? Your hair looks fantastic.
Okay.
Oh my God, that's such a cute dress. Oh, it's so cute. You have pockets. Look at my shoes. Like, that's what we do. We'll comment on accessories, not necessarily body parts, unless someone's lost weight and or is pregnant, but you've got to know what happened first. Anna comes out and she gets a hug from Andrew, who shoves a wooden duck he got in Mexico at her. Ben hugs his wife while Andrew points out his friend's domesticity with a wife, house, and coffee table books. Andrew exclaims how much he loves Ben and that while he doesn't love Anna, he's sure he will, but he really loves his friend Ben.
He hasn't seen in a decade. I don't know how close they really were.
Has it been
they make a point of that a couple of times on the film, saying they haven't seen each other in like 10. They haven't seen since the wedding, and they've been married for a couple of years.
Oh, it seemed like they were pretty young.
They are young. They're still in their 30s, I think.
Wouldn't expect them to be.
Aren't they?
Oh,
maybe early 40s.
Teenagers when they got met. They look like they were in their early 30s at minimum.
And then 30 something.
They're out of college, so it can't have been. I don't think it's been a decade.
That's what they said.
Like, I think it's been maybe that's fucked up. Maybe they're trying to play older. It's been so long. It's kind of weird that they haven't talked to each other in forever when they're supposed to be so close.
Although he says he sent them the postcards and stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah. They slap fight some more, and the wife, Anna, gets a look in her eye that I could only describe as, what the fuck is up with you and this weirdo I barely know? So apparently she doesn't know him well at all. Ben says they'll get a bed ready for him, and Anna agrees, but in a way where you know this isn't something she expected. Ben and Anna are setting up Andrew's bed in what looks to be a small storage room full of wooden racks. Ben's apologizing for his friend who just does this and tells her he's not usually this excited. The bed is apparently a yoga mat and a sleeping bag on the floor of said storage room. Fuck a couch, I guess.
Well, they probably didn't have a couch.
We don't own a couch.
They probably didn't have a couch big enough
for an air.
That's probably it.
I mean, here's this mat in our shithole closet.
It's not like they expected him. I mean, he has to get what he's going to get. I mean, he comes at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're like, what the fuck, dude?
True. I'm just saying, futons happen.
Can you imagine me coming by you and George's house at 2 o'clock in the fucking morning? You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I would literally flatten the futon. Or I blow up an air mattress because I have air mattresses in case guests pop by because I'm not a fucking
It's
savage.
2009. They hadn't invented those things yet.
I had blow up mattresses. You know, because I was poor, we did a lot of camping growing up. So I had camping equipment ready, but I didn't shove people in a closet. Like,
I guess you're better at hospitality.
Fucking savage.
Jesus.
Fucking, yeah, I am way better at hospitality than goddamn Anna and Ben. They both suck. Well, Ben sucks, actually, to be fair. And Anna's pretty.
Well, we're
pretty
probably
okay.
going to see Ben suck, but he never actually does it. Hey-o. Anyway.
Oh, hey, spoilers. Anna goes to bed, and Andrew and Ben sit on the floor of the shitty room to catch up. Andrew has been in Mexico City. He's an artist that started a project with the locals, and he's come back to see about getting grants and funding in the U.S. He says since he missed his friend and wanted to see him again, that's why he's there. They have small talk about how different their lives are. Andrew says he doesn't think he could do what Ben did, and Ben says it's easy. Meet a nice girl at the grocery, etc., and eventually you're converting your office into a baby room.
We've officially removed the goalie, and now we're just doing free kicks.
This tells me two things. Number one, there was a better room for Andrew to bed down in. And B, Ben and Anna are trying to get pregnant.
Although, honestly, when we saw them first in bed, it doesn't look like they're doing much to make that baby.
Yeah, when you're making a baby, it's a lot of work. I mean, they're trying.
Well, clearly not. You're like, oh, I'm too tired.
He's at the point where he wears that gray shirt with the holes in it a lot. Later on, you actually see him wearing it outside. Like, I thought it was just a bed shirt. He fucking wears it all the time. Like, he wears it outdoors, and there's a hole in the back where you can see his butt crack through it. And I'm just like, oh, dude, stop it. Gentlemen who are living at home, if you have a holy shirt with rips in the pit, and I know it's comfortable, but go to the store, get yourself some Hanes t-shirts, and chuck that, because it is doing you no favors.
Maybe Anna likes it. And he's married, so you don't have to wear the attracting other women, so what the hell?
It's his peekaboo lingerie, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, you don't know. Maybe that's what she's into. We never get into his clothing.
It's lace for men.
He likes them holes in the pit, so it turns her on.
She likes that peekaboo butt crack. The next day, Ben is at work calling Anna. Apparently, Andrew met a girl already and has asked Ben to come over after work and meet her and her friends. Ben says he feels obligated to show, and Anna offers to make a pork chop dinner for the three of them tonight to get to know each other. Ben arrives at the girlfriend Monica's house, which has the word Dionysus on a carving at the door. I don't know what that means.
Dionysus was the god of like wine and partying, I believe.
I thought Dionysus was a lady god.
Maybe it's a lady, but still, I believe it's wine and partying.
Yeah. But general, like, fuckery and suckery. Now, he finds Andrew making Genoese fettuccine on a table. Not a kitchen table, a dining room table. And it looks fucking terrible. It really does look like an all-out gross mess. Ben tells Andrew that Anna was hoping to have dinner with them tonight. And Monica says to invite her over. The more the merrier, as they have a standing Friday night East music Dionysian something or other. She kind of trails off there as she says a lot.
East music? What's East music?
Yeah, that's my question, but that is what she says. She says East music, Dionysian, and then she trails off.
Probably meant Eastern.
Yeah, maybe. Ben enters the kitchen to meet Lily, who lives down the street, but is at the house a lot because, whoa, she's Monica's girlfriend. Ben is clearly awkward about the open polyamory, because he looks around and he sees Andrew and Monica making out. Ben's trying to be real cool about it. We find out about Ben's job, which is transportation planner, but we never hear about it again. Lily gets distracted by more friends arriving, and Ben does that thing where someone awkwardly explains what they're doing when no one's paying attention to them at all. He excuses himself to call Anna from the bathroom. Anna is at home, lovingly preparing pork chops. Ben explains that Andrew has dinner plans already, and mentions the awkward poly situation at the house. He invites her, but he makes it sound like an uncomfortable experience. The plan is to supposedly put in some FaceTime and come home to eat, and I can only get this from his insinuation, try and breed a baby.
He's going to give it to her. He's going to give her some pork.
But he doesn't say anything like that. It's more like, and maybe we can
The thing, yeah.
The thing. Now, while Anna slides one piece of pork back into the plastic bag she had them in.
Yes, into a plastic bag.
Ben is checking. Yeah. What are you going to throw it out? That's pork. She's frugal. She's not a rich person. She doesn't have a boat. While she's doing this, Ben is checking himself out in the mirror, loosening his dress shirt and ruffling his hair to make sure he looks cooler. After his wife gaslighting was achieved, Ben can now hang out at the cool
You really
kids
think he was
party.
trying to gaslight her?
Oh, totally. He's there and he's realizing that all of these people are like way cool and interesting. And he goes off into the bathroom where no one can see and like hear it. And he's like, oh man, this party's really weird. Like, you don't really want to come. It's going to be super strange for you to come. Like, I'm just going to like hang out for a minute and then like I'll be right home to you. And then he's like, gotta look sexy in the mirror. How's my hair? And he gets distracted by that gender bender picture with the tall person with tits. Realizing that everyone's so much cooler than him because, they don't have sexual mores. I don't see how that makes anyone cooler. It just makes them maybe a little more sexually open.
Sure.
Newsflash, Ben does not go home. And the party is devolved into people in cuddle puddles on the floor, drinking and smoking weed. Andrew is making fun of Ben's pedometer, while live music I can only describe as hippie jazz is playing. That must be that East music they're talking about. Ben is clearly having a great time, while Anna is seen at home. The stereotypical abandoned wife, nodding off at the dinner table, her plate empty, while his is still set. The only thing missing is candles burned down to the nubs. Back at the party, things are getting gropey with Monica and Lily, and they're talking about making love. Did you notice that Lily has filthy hands?
I did not notice that, no.
I'm assuming like she's an artist and maybe they're covered in paint. Her fingertips are just like gray and black. And I was really quite horrified by it. I was like, ooh, if you're a lesbian, you should take better care of your hands.
What? Heterosexual sin?
Maybe use some paint thinner. You're not necessarily going to use them as intimately.
Okay, fair.
Just saying. As we're looking at Monica and Lily's disgusting fingers, some girl we haven't been introduced to has the ever so classy line.
I'm just covering myself with peanut butter and letting Tangent, my dog, lick it off.
Yeah, everyone laughs, but Ben at least says, what the fuck? No one seems horrified enough about taking advantage of a dog for sexual kicks as I would like. It turns out that they're talking about what they're going to do for this amateur porn festival some guy called The Stranger puts on, the Hump. Apparently, people make art films, they screen them for the festival, and then burn them afterwards. Andrew wants to make a prophetic, awesome, mind-blowing film, but Ben doesn't believe Andrew is going to make a porno. Andrew fires back that Ben is jealous and he can't make one because he's locked down domestic style. Ben is adamant that he can still make porn and that he's just as free and cool as Andrew. Ben posits that all the porn has been done, so they need to do something unique. Andrew says he should just fuck Ben. They all point out that there's a lot of gay porn, but Ben posits there isn't any dude-on-dude porn where the boys aren't gay. He says there's no straight porn. Straight men fucking men. Listener, if you are not aware, Joe, if you are not aware, there is an excess of straight-on-straight male porn. It's usually called gay for pay and is an extremely popular porn genre. Heck, half the men you see in male porn live heterosexual offset lives. The only thing that would make this even more common would be for them to set the scene in a gym, which, spoiler, they do not.
I just want to say, though, it actually makes sense that neither Ben nor Andrew would know this and that Ben would say something. Although Andrew should know, really, if he's that worldly. But Ben, it makes sense that he wouldn't know that. But someone there would correct him and go like, what are you talking about? There's plenty of...
What bothers me is everyone at the party seems to think this is a fucking mind-blowing idea.
That's just it. That doesn't make any sense. Someone there would go like, what are you talking about? Straight on straight? That's been done.
But yeah, a lot of those dudes in those porns they live heterosexual lives outside of it. And that's fine. You either pop a bill or you're just good at maintaining an erection. There's a reason they have fluffers. The porn you're watching, a lot of times, people there aren't like continuously having sex. they're stopping and they're starting. You don't need to be attracted to the person you're fucking. You just need to maintain an erection. And that's why those people get
sure.
paid.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
That's why a lot of straight men do it, because straight porn, the men don't get paid in it. It's gender biased. Since it's marketed towards men, either gay men or straight men, the people that are going to get paid are the people who are fucking the men.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a male sex worker, the money is in the gay. I mean, because women just aren't paying for sex. Or at least not most women.
Unless you're a novelty act like Dongzilla, the men in male-female porns are underpaid. They're not a draw.
Well, is Dongzilla a name, or you just mean to say?
Oh yeah, it's a guy. Google
I am
it.
not Googling Dongzilla. I'm asking you, is that a real person?
He's cute.
Are you kidding? Is that real, or is that just a name in it?
He's so fucking big. Yes, it's real. It's like a fucking arm.
I hear
that man should get paid.
There is.
He earns all of his
I've
money.
listened to this porn director talk about the.
Anyone who fucks him should get paid twice. I don't care. Twice, whatever they're asking prices. Maybe
There was this
10
guy who was
times.
a porn director, and he said that women tended to hate guys with too huge a dong because it hurts.
Yeah. Like if you're seeing Dongzilla, it's usually like he can't get in. Just look at this giant, enormous, impressive penis.
Who was that guy? There was a porn star in the 70s had a huge dong that made a big deal. Or not Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy's a fat guy who's in jail now.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but he died of AIDS. And he's like this. I've seen some of those pornos, and the camera could not stay off his cock. It's disgusting. Penis is not an interesting thing or attractive to look at, especially in straight porn. Why are you showing his dick so much?
To quote Michael Scott, in the right context, a penis can be a beautiful thing.
Oh, I got this line from White Lotus. It's not supposed to be beautiful. It's not a sunset.
No, penises can be lovely. One of the biggest parts of male insecurity is their penis. A lot of insecurity about, is my penis pretty?
Do guys want to hear that it's pretty or that it's huge? I can't imagine a guy, oh, honey, your penis is so pretty. I don't know if that's going to turn a guy on. Oh, you are hung like a horse. That will probably work on a guy.
If you need to be told it's huge,
it's not huge.
It's not huge.
Okay, I guess you know more about fucking guys than I do, but I would imagine a guy enjoys hearing that.
I think hard is what they prefer to hear. It's effective.
Yeah, honey, you have a really effective cock. Oh, that's a hot talk.
That's what I say. Gee golly, gosh, George, you have a hard, sturdy, and effective, pretty penis. All right. We went off. Everyone at the party seems to think, okay, Ben is enthusiastic that he can fuck his friend. He'll pop a pill and bang Andrew. Andrew digs into Ben about not being crazy enough to do it and baits Ben into booking a hotel for Sunday night. Thus begins their game of gay chicken.
Awesome. What are you doing Sunday night?
Sunday night, boning the shit out of you.
No, wrong. Getting the shit boned out of you by me.
Ben calls 411 for the number for the Bone-In Hotel for a booking to prove his commitment to making the film with Andrew. Ben apparently made it home. We see him half off the bed snoring in his house. Anna walks in with an ovulation test in her hand, drops her panties, and starts riding him. Now he's happy about the wake up, but she says she doesn't want to talk to him. She says she's still mad about last night, and he's not comfortable with the situation. He's like, you're not even gonna kiss me.
Yeah, he tries to kiss her, and she goes, no. Which I can understand. That is kind of a turn-off. I'm sorry. If we're gonna do this, I need to be kissed.
She's still upset about being stood up, which rightfully so. Also, she'd hoped to try and have sex while she was still ovulating. That was the whole point of apparently him coming home last night, and that's why she's pissed. She asks for an explanation, and he gives her a bullshit story that Andrew had too much to drink, and he had to look after him, but then he got drunk and had to wait to sober up. She rightfully calls him out on this clear bullshit because Andrew is an adult, and it shouldn't have taken Ben till 3 a.m. to sober up. Ben begrudgingly admits that he was having fun and enjoyed experiencing different people and different conversation.
I just feel like on the eve of us making a family and having kids, we shouldn't be subscribing so much to that lifestyle that we close ourselves off completely from other experiences. If anything, I think we should do more of those kinds of things. You know what I'm saying? As parents.
Where's the we in this?
She realizes she was gaslighted with his half-assed invitation. He points out, though, that he's a pretty great husband and asks for a get-out-of-jail-free card. This ends about as well as you would expect it, with him alone in bed and her in the shower so she can wash the douchebag off of her. Andrew shows up in the morning hungover in the kitchen for coffee. Andrew asks for aniseed, which Ben does not have. Andrew sucks on a spoonful of sugar, and so does Ben, to hopefully help with a hangover. This does
I don't
not
even
work.
understand that. Who told him that dumb idea?
Yeah, he's one of those things. Like, he's got to put in little instances of things he did while traveling to show he's, like, world weary. You know, like him and his stupid fedora hat that some quote-unquote princess bought him when he was in Monaco. It's just a little character fodder. After apparently throwing up, which gratefully we do not see, the boys play an inept and really handsy game of basketball in the street.
Yeah, very aggressive, like they're secretly mad at each other.
Yeah, and Ben calls himself daddy way too much. He refuses to give Andrew the ball, and they end up grappling in the street until a car honks for them to get out of the road. Yeah, they do grapple a lot. After the game, which was apparently their hangover cure, they rubbed their bruises and awkwardly breach what had happened at the party last night. Andrew apologizes for the party and putting Ben in a wild situation, since he lives a domestic life and isn't used to crazy situations. Ben takes offense that Andrew doesn't think he's able to do whatever he wants. It's all very much, you don't know my life, man. Andrew keeps trying to let Ben off the hook for the porno, but Ben doubles down in order to prove he's just as wild and creative as Andrew. Continuing the gay chicken, Andrew rightly points out that he should probably talk to his wife about it, and Ben is adamant that she'll be cool with it.
Which is so
Probably.
crazy.
Maybe.
So dumb. Like, he should totally have taken, I get it, he wants to prove that he's still cool and stuff, but he's not. You are married, you have a house, you have responsibilities. Yeah, you can't do that stuff.
For one, he's already proven that he thinks his wife would be offended, uncomfortable, and not someone who would be into that whole quote-unquote scene. He's already proven that. Every time he turns around and like talks to her without Andrew or someone around, he's like, no, really, he puts it off.
Well, he's a wuss. There's no question about that. He's a wuss.
He's a
No,
coward.
wuss coward. Yeah. He really should have, from the beginning, he should have said, come on over, honey. It'll be nice. We'll meet some other people. But he's like, no, it's not the bigger part. You're right. And then gets his hair all mussed and goes out there. It's like, it's a weird thing going on. I think a part of it, even though the film doesn't get that much into it, he made you just be afraid of being a father, getting older. And so this is his response.
Well, he put himself in that boring situation. It's almost like he resents her for it. So he's not including her in the joys that he has. We do cut to, and you see this when he's alone with her next. We cut to Ben making what looks like a black olive pasta salad. Do you know what this is?
There are black olive pastas, yeah.
Well, I hate black olives, so that's horrific to me.
Yeah, olives in general are disgusting. I'm not a fan of olives.
He also makes a side salad to go with his pasta salad, which is a weird
Maybe she
combo.
really likes salad.
Yeah, I guess so. She must. Or it's the only thing he can make. He plies Anne, who's just gotten home with wine, and promises us massages after dinner. They eat, and he thanks her for being so amazing having Andrew over and for leaving the duck out on the mantle, which he apparently hates. It's a nice duck. I don't know why she doesn't like it. He explains how lost Andrew is and that it's really lucky he met some like-minded people who invited him to take part in a film festival. He says that Andrew begged him to help with this artsy film festival by the stranger.
It's not
Films
Humpfest.
what's that?
It's not Humpfest, is it?
I'm not exactly sure. That might.
The porn festival? The Stranger does a porn festival every year.
I was like, ha! Because Anna is clearly far more aware of the alternative porn scene than Ben, which he doesn't even clock. She's way more hip to it. So she would have probably had way more fun and been way more comfortable at that party than him, I'm guessing.
You're right.
She asks, who's having sex in the film? And he says he's going to be a lackey getting coffee for the crew or something, really downplaying his role in this situation and not mentioning that he plans to bang or get banged by Andrew. He rambles and pushes off the conversation till later, ending with an awkward, I love you, which is how every great couple's conversation ends. Andrew is across town at Monica's and about to get freaky with Monica and Lily in the bed. He's shocked to find marital aids, aka rubber cocks and strap-ons, in the bed. He says that he was hoping that things would be au naturel, meaning that it would only be his dick in the bedroom. but Monica and Lily are upfront about sex toys being a part of their bed play. Lily is not at all interested in sex with a dude. She's a lesbian. You know, she's okay with sharing her girlfriend, but she's not at all interested in his penis, which is completely and totally fair because she's a lesbian. Kind of a double standard for a dude who thinks two straight dudes boning is shocking and new. You know? You have a hole, and this is a rubber one, why don't you use my penis? No, it's not how it works. You know, say if they were in a porn, it'd be fine. No one wants to do that for fun when they're not attracted to it. Andrew's masculinity is way too threatened by the situation, and he makes a quick exit from the room. Like, he practically runs out of that room.
I'm sorry George couldn't sit in on this guy. We're very curious how he would fix that situation so he could get both of them.
I don't think he would. I think he would respect that. I think George would respect that.
Or you would let her put him up in.
You're super fascinated with George being bottomed by something, aren't you? I think maybe you're projecting too much. Like, I'll say this from a different perspective. A lot of guys, when they get two girls in bedroom, they tend to focus on them. And when you're in bed with a couple, you need to straighten things out ahead of time. Say if I was in the bedroom with two straight dudes, I wouldn't expect them to fuck around with each other or even necessarily have contacts other than a high five above my head. As a couple, they should probably straighten it out and figured out what he was comfortable with beforehand.
Well, that should be true of any relationship. You just don't spring things on people. Oh, do you like this? Do you want me to do this? How's this?
He is kind of a delicate little snowflake afraid of a sex toy in the bedroom. If you're afraid of like a vibrator or a dildo in your girlfriend's bedroom, I mean...
Well, it does prove that he's not as worldly as he thinks he is.
I think part of it was like, oh, I'm so straight, I can't even deal with a fake dick in the bedroom. You know? The loss for him. He lost out. There's a weird scene after Andrew runs out of the room of him smoking in shrubbery somewhere before it cuts to Anna walking in on him doing dishes, freshly showered, and in a bathrobe that looks like quality stuff. I totes want the bathrobe that Andrew has in that scene. Anna asks Andrew to have a drink and get to know each other. And by the end of the bottle, they're laughing and talking about the time Ben pulled out of a trip for an art project with Andrew for an unpaid internship. Andrew still blames Ben for not completing his college project, therefore not getting his college degree. Andrew drunkenly starts telling Anna how awesome she is for being so open-minded. They start talking about the porn, and there's a bunch of talking around the situation with the porno, leading to a steadily more confused Anna. But Andrew eventually spills the beans about him and Ben having sex on film. Anna asks for clarification, and Andrew realizes he has made a grave error. Anna yells Ben into the room. Andrew apologizes in a panic to Ben that he told everything to Anna, and Ben says that he was going to ask, but then it got weird, and he put it off. Anna wants an explanation as to why he lied, and as usual, Ben wants to take it elsewhere so he can lie without witnesses. Yeah, this seems to be his MO. She refuses, as she should, and demands to know why he's doing this.
I don't know why I'm doing this. I know it's important to me, and I don't see the reason why we have to get all worked up about it.
Which is an incredible statement to make. All right, ladies and gentlemen, imagine, and I'm sure the audience already gets this, you are in a relationship with someone. You're married to them, you're dating, whatever. You're in a relationship with someone, and then you do not tell them. You lie to them about you about to have sex on film with someone else.
Yeah. I'm going to be a gopher and get coffee.
The gender of the person you're having sex with is irrelevant. Your partner, understandably, would like to know why you want to go fuck someone else. I mean, what are they supposed to do with that information?
Yeah. And he's all like, what's the big deal?
Dude, I think that is kind of a big deal.
She should have been like, you already got your get out of jail free card, dickwad.
Yeah, you cashed that one in already, bitch. Now what?
Yeah, and kick him in the balls. But she doesn't kick him in the balls. Anna goes to bed, disappointed in Ben. Andrew apologizes and offers to leave, but Ben tells him to stay and that he needs to sit with Anna and talk it out. They do not talk it out, as we see Ben and Andrew on the floor of the shitty storage room, not sleeping because they have the lights on at full blast. I guess because they didn't have dark lighting or something, they're like, I'll use my plant lights.
The problem that I have with that scene, and maybe you mentioned it later, I don't know, is that Ben is staring directly into the camera in some parts of that scene. It's like really uncomfortable. It's like he's talking to the audience.
Yeah, it's right above them. And here's another hospitality part. They didn't even give Andrew a pillow. He's sleeping on his duffel bag, and Ben has a towel under his head. Andrew admits he feels like a fraud. He's never completed an art project in his entire career. So in apparently 10 years, he's never completed an art project.
Evidently.
Ben tells a story about being so lonely when he first got out of college. He took a shitty recommendation from a video store clerk. He kept going back to watch these shitty movies in a series and lying about how much he liked the films because he enjoyed the conversation with the clerk. Once he was done with the video series, he thought about that guy a lot to the point of sexual fantasies, which were stopped once he thought about the guy's balls. Does that make him gay? Andrew says no. Sorry to say, Ben. Even people who are attracted to people with balls don't always think that they're fantastic. Testicles are weird and usually pretty ugly.
They're all ugly. I agree.
I think Ben's probably a bit gay, and that's fine. It's okay,
Well,
Ben.
there is a spectrum, all jokes aside about George banging me and banging George. There is a spectrum of homosexuality that I think women are allowed to express way more than dudes are.
So women are allowed to express their range of sexuality for the entertainment of men, usually. Men are not encouraged to express homosexual behavior or masculine attraction the way that women are. So it is fair to say that they're encouraged more, but they're not encouraged to do it without the male gaze.
You're right. A lot of it also for the male, for guys getting off, girls sometimes kiss and do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it's for dudes' enjoyment. I don't think women are as entertained by that sort of thing, right?
Oh, I've met girls who are way into dudes getting
Really?
it on. Yeah, I mean, because it can be hot. Watch some gay porn.
Well, I guess that's true, actually, now that I think about it. Well, I know that women used to buy Playgirl, which most gay men bought, but a lot of women also. But Playgirl was supposed to be for women.
Yeah. I would buy gay porn for my friend.
Oh, so they wouldn't have to be outed or anything? It's safer for you to buy it than for them to buy it?
I don't think it was any safer. I don't think they were afraid of someone hurting them for being gay. They were more afraid of someone knowing they were gay.
They were closeted, you're telling me.
It was a real weird thing. They were open with everyone, but casual strangers, I think they really preferred the emotional security of appearing as a straight man.
Interesting.
Like I had a real good friend who we almost dated. Like he was a real hardcore, deep talking Southern country boy from Kentucky. He was a handsome, sweet talking gentleman. And we were hanging out with a friend once at this steakhouse. He was eating this chicken salad. He almost choked to death, and I gave him the Heimlich. I saved his life. A couple weeks later, he calls me up, and he's like, Kit, I need to tell you something because you changed my life. I'm a gay man. I could have died then and lived my life living a lie until I died. And I'm quite proud that me saving someone's life saved not only me, but him from a cold heterosexual
Cool
relationship.
story. That's actually very nice. But you know what? Here's the thing. While you were talking there, it just reminded me.
I mean, I should have known because later on I found out he had a whole website dedicated to quotes from the Golden Girls.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I find very interesting. You're telling me a story of you having to buy gay porn for your male friends. This just shows me how much screenwriting is a male-dominated field, or at least a hetero male field, because that is a premise that should be in a comedy somewhere. I should have seen that at least once in a movie or a TV show with some. Because you see guys, you see TV show or old movies like in the 80s, like Mr. Mom. Oh, I gotta buy not condoms. Condoms is also something the guys have to buy, but also he has to go out and buy tampons. And I'm so embarrassed.
Yeah.
You never see like a woman having to go out and buy something and be embarrassed. That would be an interesting scene. Women going out buying porn for her gay friends because they don't want to come out. That is hilarious. How is that not a premise for something?
When his friends, when he moved, his mom helped him move. And she found his sex toys. She found his dildos. And so instead of blaming it on, like, say, some of his gay friends, like, he blamed it on me. And I'm like, bro, why am I leaving my dildos at your house? Like, this makes no sense. She knows they're your dicks. She knows they're your dicks.
We probably said, this is my girlfriend. Sometimes she stays over and she likes this.
No, she knew he was gay, and she knew I wasn't fucking him. He said that I left these big-ass dildos all over his house.
All right, back to the script.
Andrew admits he's embarrassed to not be more sexually open like the people he associates with. They both wish they were more gay, so tomorrow would be more fun. Apparently, even though Anna isn't on board, this film is still going to happen. Ben is still, yeah, tomorrow we fucking. So gay chicken still on board. After a bunch of artsy still shots of the house, because they do love artsy still shots in this film, Ben and Anna meet on the couch. Ben still doesn't know why he wants to do the porno, but he's adamant that he needs to do it. He compares the life he has with Anna to an ogre that crushed the other parts of his spirit. Anna says if that's the way he feels, then he should do it so he doesn't have regrets, and points out that she's not one-dimensional either, which is, like what he's been doing to her this whole time. Your wife that sits at home. She admits to having gone to a party after they were married and making out with a guy in the bathroom. She says it was great, and it gave her perspective on how much she wanted to come home to him. Ben says he wants to give her one of his classic guilt trips and admits that he can't say shit. She keeps telling him she's going to support him in this project so he won't resent her, that he needs to figure this out before they have a baby.
Which brings up an interesting question. She says, yeah, go ahead. And her reasoning is fine. I don't question that. Though I do wonder, all right, we're going to have a kid and you're going to have a daddy with a porn film out there. It just seems like that would be something they would at least discuss.
They said that they burned the
Oh, that's right.
after.
You're right.
So that's, that's not an issue.
Right.
She's basically like, figure out if you need to do this. Maybe you are gay, and this is why you want to do it. Like, fucking get it over with before we spend the rest of our lives together, like, and you have regrets and resentment towards me.
Yeah.
So I recommend that to anyone in a couplehood. If you have a passion to do something, whether it be like a project or another person, talk it out with your partner. If they don't know about it, it's pretty shitty if you make a decision that says, I'm going to do this thing. And it's pretty shitty if you don't tell them and then you resent them for it.
Definitely shitty, but also just crazy. Why would you plan this thing? Don't even tell your wife. And then with a friend who she knows. So these people are going to run into each other. There's no keeping this secret.
Yeah. He's staying at their house. If I wanted to make a porno, I would probably talk to George about it and see how he felt.
Yeah, you probably want to run that by him.
Yeah, and I would hope that he would do the same. If you and him wanted to apparently put stuff inside each other, as you seem real focused, if you wanted to stuff George full of M&Ms.
That'll be a Patreon. Dear patrons, if you want, for $500, $500 fair price.
500? Only 500? Yes, that's too low to stuff things full of George. George full
I don't know what a good
things.
price for boning is, but if you like to see me and George fuck.
See, it's not about what the price is for boning. It's the price of me allowing you to fuck my boyfriend. And because I know you, the price is high. After a bunch more artsy scene shots of Ben driving and Andrew walking through progressively shittier
Where's
places.
he coming from? Shouldn't they both driven in together? I don't understand why they arrived separately.
Yeah, I know. They had to go and get their shit together separate. I'm guessing Ben had to go to work.
Oh, that's true.
No, it's Sunday. They're doing this on Sunday. So
I don't know.
yeah, it's weird. But they basically walk to shittier and shittier places. And we arrive at the hotel room, which is a standard Days Inn with 2 double beds. I guess the Bonin Inn was all booked up. It's clearly not the honeymoon suite that Ben claims it is when Andrew
honeymoon
comes in.
suites don't have 2 beds. If you got 2 beds in the honeymoon suite, something's wrong.
You have a king in the honeymoon suite, probably. Maybe a hot tub that gives you a yeast infection. Ben was able to acquire a camcorder that you probably use for a video log, a vlog. Is that what the kids
Back
call
in the
it?
day, sure. Do we still have vlogs? I don't know we still do that.
I think I have one of these cameras on my bookshelf I've never used. I bought it and meant to, show myself making pie, but I never used it.
Well, that's the camera George and I will use when we're.
Yeah. When you're stuffing them full of Jimmy Jams.
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Call it my Jimmy Jam. My Joe Jam. We call it Joe jamming. That's what we call the porn.
Here's
Joe
some Joe jamming for you all over your face, George.
Oh, that's gross. All right. You've
I
thought
love
about
this
this a lot.
so much, all the time. That's all I dream about.
Jeez, I mean,
Joe Jam.
lying in bed alone in your
In my
studio
tiny,
apartment
excuse me, junior studio apartment.
on your
on my
futon.
Dreaming about George. Stop it.
Looking at your stack of books because you don't own a
own a
fucking
bookshelf,
bookshelf, by
yes.
the way. You really need a bookshelf.
Oh, I need so much. There's so many
Look at
things
it.
I need. I'm not getting nothing for this place. I'm moving. When I move out, I'll get all that stuff.
Ben sells the shitty movie camera as a home movie amateur angle, and they do a testimonial explaining that they're friends from college who are making a porn together. Because obviously, like, you can't tell they're straight just by looking at them. And as much as Zach Galifianakis might think that he looks straight. Basically, they say, we're straight and we're going to have sex, even though we're straight.
Would you believe them? If you happened upon a video and two guys insisted they're straight and about to have sex, would you really think they're straight?
Those guys? Yeah.
I would just assume that they're gay. I would just like, maybe that's unfair, but it's like, you can't tell me you're straight and then go fuck each other. I'm just sorry.
I know a lot of gay dudes, so I would see the joy in their eyes. I would take note. I would see the excitement. Basically, they fidget and stare at each other awkwardly for a bit. Ben says that they should count to 5 and just kiss. Andrew runs off to the bathroom to pee. I wonder why no one has gotten Viagra like they mentioned the other night
Or
at the party.
lube.
Oh, right? No one even I got some baby oil from the house.
I don't know how they think they're going to make this happen. If I understand the mechanics of it, you're going to need something to assist.
I grabbed these ketchup packets from the McDonald's.
Well, I think they use, Brokeback Mountain, they use spit, so maybe that's enough.
That's considered polite in Poland, to spit on your lover's genitalia.
Is it?
Apparently, it's like a romantic thing.
Oh, God. There's...
And I'm like, no,
There were
ew,
two-
gross.
well,
like, spit on your
yes,
hand.
there are a
Like,
bunch of things that turn me off. Even though I
hand.
watch porn, there's so much in it that turns me off, and spitting is number one. I don't like
someone did that to
spitting.
me once, and I was like,
Yeah,
ah!
it's just
Don't
gross.
spit on my cooch. Ah, what's wrong with you? Whoop, ah. No.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'm not spitting down in there. What is... ugh.
Well, then you're like, I mean, come on. There's some poor listener that's like right now because we're making those noises. I know Dawn and fucking Quinn at least are listening to this, my friends.
And one more thing.
And Dawn is super uncomfortable.
And one more thing about porn making here. Take your shoes off. I don't know why.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not into high heels to begin with. Having a girl in heels or flats, I don't care what I'm just not into shoes. I don't care what she's got on her feet. But if you're getting on my goddamn bed, take your shoes off. All these women are fucking on bed with shoes on.
Because it arches your pelvis more. But I'm more worried about stabbing someone with heels, for one. Put a pillow under them instead. Whatever, different strokes for different strokes. Put down a mat on your bed if you got a girl that's into that. Otherwise, she's going to ruin your foam mattress, yeah? Or your twin-size futon, as the case may be for Joseph.
If you have a water bed, you're really in trouble.
All right, love a waterbed. Andrew comes out of the bathroom after peeing, and they do a countdown to kiss. 5, 4, 3, 2, kiss. They start telling each other, it wasn't so bad, it's okay. And then they admit it was terrible. They put the pretty woman rule in place and agree that they should just do it.
Kissing. Though that's another weird thing. Besides not bringing Viagra or any sort of lube, you think they at least drank something. There's like no booze?
Right? I guess they want to do it au natural, as Andrew. Andrew is, I don't think Andrew has had sex with anyone.
There's nothing unnatural about being drunk and having sex. People do it all the time.
And as we saw from Anna, just hopping on her boyfriend's cock in the morning, she's always well lubricated.
That's
so
true.
Ben doesn't even know. Ben lives a fantasy
Well,
life.
this is...
He doesn't live like Ben Shapiro. That's
I was about to
fucking
say,
sure.
yeah, this bit gets his wife wet.
Ben Shapiro's like, no, she's diseased.
Hey, her pussy is supposed to be dry, isn't that right?
Spit on it. Just now they disrobe to their boxers, and Ben points out that while Andrew is attractive, like he's got an okay body, he's not into it. Then they worry that they took their clothes off too fast and they get their clothes back on. Once clothed, Ben says that they're too in their heads and that they need to let their bodies just take over. Andrew says they pussed out and decide to take their clothes off again.
Again, just down to boxers.
Yeah, on again, off again, on again, off again. Andrew suggests hugging without shirt, which they do, with a good foot in between their groin. Andrew compares it to hugging someone he hasn't seen in a while at the pool. They're working super hard to non-sexualize this sexual situation. I think that's counterintuitive, actually. You'd think they'd want to be like, hey, let's close our eyes and like maybe touch the parts that are just soft skin or so. I don't know.
They often just don't want to do this. That's why.
They release each other and they realize they never discussed how to get hard, i.e., never brought a pill. Ben supposes someone could go into the bathroom, get hard, and run into the room and put it in real fast. Take a running dive at his ass. Andrew says if they do it, it needs to be an experience, not something that they just get through. They don't know how to get there. I raised my hand from my couch and yelled, there's a TV with porn you can fluff to.
That's true.
They could get comfortable with each other jacking off to the porn, and then when they're like, oh, I'm ready, I could come now, put it in a butt.
Or as you said, they could just get naked and just get acquainted with each other's bodies. It doesn't have to necessarily be penetration.
Yeah. Also, I think waxing buttholes would have helped. Because if I was a dude and I'm used to a lady butt, maybe, hopefully your lady waxes her butt whole, if she's into that. Maybe the thicket of hair that you will find on a cisgender man's anus will be a little off-putting. So I think a trip to the waxer, or at least some nair, would have helped beforehand.
Well, we don't know. We never actually see their asses. Maybe they are already smooth there.
When someone pays the $10,000 Patreon goal for you to jam stuff in George's butt, I will make sure that I'll wax it myself.
Oh, is he hairy? Has George got a hairy ass?
He's afraid that if I wax it, that his farts will be louder.
He thinks hair stuck?
Like there'll be more flapping. And I know this not to be the case, but you know, it is what it is. Just better and more hygienic to not have hair on your butthole.
Already there, so.
But you know. good for you. Good for you, Joseph. I didn't need to know.
But I thought I'd just add to the conversation.
But yeah. Well, anyone out there who is interested in Joseph, know that he has a clean and hairless butthole. And I'm going to have you talk to George about that and how it affects your farts.
They're really loud, so you may have a point.
Eventually, they do get naked in bed, but they have pillows covering both their groins and their butts. They're in a pillow sandwich, each of them, sitting next to each other, staring straight ahead. They have full pillow sex barricade. Ben finally asks, what about two straight dudes fucking is art? He also, however, says he doesn't want them to let each other off the hook. Andrew doesn't want to chicken out as well, but also agrees he doesn't see the point. Ben asks if they're chickening out. Andrew says that they're doing it because it scares us more than anything else. This is valid, and Ben agrees. There's nothing he wants to do less.
Something just hit me.
Mm-hmm.
I think we might be morons.
We've seen that demonstrated in this entire movie. They agree it's a stupid idea with good intentions? We had good intentions fucking each other while you're married.
And if you're not married, what's a good intention?
Almost ruining your 10-year marriage in this game of gay chicken we have here. Andrew says he was hoping this was the thing that he would finally finish. Ben says he chose the wrong thing. Ben says they should put their clothes on and officially loses this game of gay chicken. They've been playing for 2 days. They laugh with relief and order room service. Ben orders a chocolate strawberry mix milkshake. And I don't know why I hate the idea of this. I eat Neapolitan ice cream, but I find this repulsive. And then they play the drums on their tummies. These guys spend a lot of time focusing on their tummies. Do you and George do this when you're alone? You just play drums on your bellies? Thought so. Ben wonders what he's going to do about Anna since he's been a dick and decides not to wait for his sandwich and milkshake. He tells Andrew to charge whatever to the room and goes home to Anna, presumably to tell her that he didn't fuck his friend and then guilt her about kissing that dude when she went on vacation. They hug lovingly, and Ben leaves. It actually looks like Andrew isn't gonna stay, though. He puts on his shoes, gets his shit together, and then he grabs the camcorder and laughs as he watches the intro that they recorded. And that is the end of the movie.
So what did you think of that ending? Before I ask you, what do you think the film works? What do you think that ending meant?
I think they did their game of gay chicken, and he got a stupid video he made with his friend, and now he's gonna go off and float somewhere. I don't know.
No, I think that is the ending. Is that Andrew got his wish. He finally got a project finished, and he's gonna submit that.
I guess he didn't. Maybe he'll. You know what would have actually made a better ending to that film is if they recorded all of that, and then his friend's like, order whatever you want, and then he put on like skin flicks in the hotel movie and jerked off as the end of his porn film, called it gay chicken, and then said, I win as a king. That would have been perfectly legitimate for the porn film. I think if no one's dick is out, it's not a porn.
Well, that's fair. Maybe they don't qualify, but the way I took it is like, hey, finish the project. But you're right. They're not really, there's nothing pornographic about anything they do there.
Yeah. I thought of so many better things to do as an art film than straight dudes fucking. I in fact messaged you and I said, Joseph, I need you to come up with at least 3 art films that you would make better than 2 straight dudes fucking.
I didn't come up with anything, but did you?
Oh, you didn't? Oh, of course. A live action animated film called 12-Inch High Private Eye.
Okay.
The second one is a furry retelling of Lady and the Tramp.
Okay. So once they finish the spaghetti, they get on top of the spaghetti and start humping each other?
Maybe they make out. I don't fucking know. I'm not making the film. I'm just saying it's better than 2 straight dudes trying to fuck. Another one, Pollock all over my face. Basically, it's a bukkake party, but instead of ejaculate coming out, it's paint. Like, it's movie magic. The Little Mermaid, Under the Seaman, featuring Bridget Powers, a.k.a. Squirt. Bridget Powers is a little person.
Oh, okay.
And I actually had some friends help me out. Friend of the show, Don Ford, voice of Fantasy
If anybody
Adventure.
knows porn, it's him. That's a joke. I don't know.
No, he's my bestie, man. He said a film called You'll Be Watched, a porn filmed entirely from the perspective of Elf on the Shelf. And my buddy Caleb Lackus, or Lakes, I forget how I say his name, offered a few. The Sounding of Music. I don't know if you know what sounding is.
Wait, that's a sex act sounding?
Yeah, it's where you... and you...
Is that a joke?
No, that's a thing.
Are you serious? Is that a joke? Are you serious?
Yeah, look it up.
I will not do that. Well, that sounds horrible.
Yep. Another one he said was the human consentipede, which I thought sounded very
What does
nice.
that do?
It is what it
Oh,
sounds
but they're
like.
consenting.
A human
Okay.
Yeah, they're into it.
Now that we got past that, does this film work?
Yeah, I would say it works. Like, I could put it at any time. It's a bunch of dumb people trying to be cooler than they are. It apparently is based on a real quote-unquote film festival, though I'm kind of offended that someone thought that having peanut butter licked off by your dog was appropriate as like an erotic art film. That's not erotic or art or I mean, it's gonna be burned. I guess it works for what it is. It's a story about shitty people doing kind of crappy things and being kind of crappy friends and kind of crappy partners, you know?
Yeah.
Slice of life.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it works. I think there's nothing in it that couldn't happen today. It's not... It hasn't dated too much. I mean, that festival we talked about still exists. The Hump Festival is still around. There's nothing in it that you couldn't find today. Something like, oh, that's so weird that they did this back then. And yeah, I think it 100% works.
Yeah.
For today.
The only thing I think doesn't work is the premise that people would be shocked by 2 straight dudes fucking because of what I know, which is that happens.
Or they
all the
would be
time.
at this party and they would be encouraged. Oh, it'd be beyond gay to have 2 straight guys. Yeah, they would not.
The people who are into polyamory and aware of it and comfortable with it or aware of anything on a gender spectrum or sexual spectrum would be like, oh, that's unusual. Nah. If anything, most people would be like, everybody's a little bit gay, man. How about two straight dudes try fucking? Let's see if they like it. That's pretty much what that porn is anyway.
If this were real, the whole thing would have ended with them saying, hey, we two straight guys want sex. And everyone in the party would go like, that's not, what's the art there? And that'll be it. And that, you know, but then they'd have no movie. So I can understand everyone says, oh yeah, it's a good idea. That'd be great.
Yeah. And basically it's an excuse for them to play a game of gay chicken.
I know what gay chicken is, I think. But just to be clear, this is just two guys like daring each other to kiss or that sort of thing?
To do more and more gay things until they see who breaks. And if you're a gay guy and you're trying to fuck a straight guy, it's a really great way to get in his... Don't do that. That is not cool.
I wonder, is that like a high school or college thing?
Some drunk people at parties probably like, yeah, let's play gay chicken. But that's because they really want to make out with their friends.
And they can't admit it. Anyway, so we both agree it still works. So let's just move on. Kit, what is coming up?
Next week, George will be back to talk about Bonnie and Clyde from 1967. And no, he has not seen it.
And I have. And I was born in 1967, so I didn't see it then. But I did see it in film school. So it'll be interesting to see what George thinks of it. So I guess that's it for this episode. I'm Joe Dixon. Thanks for listening.
And I'm Kit Nowokunski. Thanks for listening, indeed, because if a podcast drops and there's nobody around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, Seattle, Washington for the Boning Motel, spelled B-O-N-I. I have no listing.
You've been listening to Does This Still Work? Produced by Joe Dixon and George Ramaka. The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
This is why I can't go to a prostitute. I need kissing in there. Can't just be sticking it in.
You could just pay her more.
Should mass transit be free?
Which decade, in your opinion, Joseph, had the best fashion trends?
All right, here's my next question for you. Can consciousness continue outside of our bodies?
Next question. If a song played every time you entered a room, what would it be?